In a moment, we'll start collecting clues as to the whys, the whats, and the wheres.
And I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Can you hear that? We will not end the nightmare, we'll only explain it.
We're talking about misbehaving gnomes in Utah and soon-to-arrive alien motherships in today's episode of Oddnormal's What in the Weird. It's a show that thinks you did in fact see a ghost that one time. I'm your host, Fiasco Jones. I'm joined by my co-host, Cold Coffee, who decided now would be a great time to test the bounds of remote podcast technology, flying to the other side of the country just so he can say,
"Can you hear me?
Want to hear something strange?"
I did something different here.
A woman has been haunted by gnome-like tricksters in her backyard, and some people think Elf on the Shelf could be to blame. That's right, Elf on the Shelf. How does this tie in? You'll find out. So this story starts with a woman in southern Utah who reported having strange encounters with a tiny creature in her garden. I should say, actually, her husband and son had these encounters. She herself did not have them. You'll find out. Here we go.
We live in Utah. We moved here about 8 months ago. I'm going to sound freaking crazy for saying this. There's a weird little gnome in our backyard that just apparently runs back and forth and up the things. And I'm like, I have not seen this. And it is weird. I call it a gnome. I don't really know what it's called. It's like a little person, like a little, like 2 feet maybe. And they've seen it like a few times. I'm not, I guess, apparently in tune to see it, so I haven't seen it. But my husband said that he saw it the first time when he was out here barbecuing. He saw it running up the wall of our neighbors. And then my son saw it just like right out here, and I'm like, what is going on? What dimension did we fall into that this is an actual thing?
So before I get your first thoughts, I want to say I don't think she knows scale very well, because 2 feet is not like inhumanly small. You know, I think there's actually Webster was like 2 feet tall.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could just be a midget pervert that's outside her window. But the fact that she says she never saw it,
right?
She said that she wasn't in tune. To me, this sounds like husband and son are fucking with her and are teasing her and are just like, "Oh, you didn't see it, babe?" And she's like, "What? Like, are you sure?" And they're like,
Gullible, quite gullible.
Yes, yes. I don't know. For her to say that she's never seen it, she's not in tune, and then it seems to me like it could be her hubby and her son playing tricks with her. I thought she at least seen it or whatever, but why are they not speaking on it? Why are they not speaking? Why is it the wife? Why is the son and do you have clips of the son and the father?
Well, that's the thing. So after she posted this, her entire account completely shut off and disappeared, and no one knows.
Because her husband was like, "Babe, it was a joke."
No, I don't think so. I don't think they'd be that spiteful. Because here's the thing: that there are other people that have some thoughts on this because of that, specifically because of that area. I just don't think that her husband, and they would let it carry on that far. If they thought, okay, mom's going to make a fool of herself, I think that's it would be going too.
But if
far.
Mom did make a fool of herself, they said, "Babe, you got to take that count down, pull it offline," and all of a sudden she goes missing. It all makes sense.
Or it could be this right here.
Uh-oh.
Southern Utah is infested with gnomes.
Now here's where things take a bit of a turn. The commenters were all like, "Girl, those aren't gnomes, those are duendes." Duendes are popular in Latin and Spanish folklore. They're like elves or garden creatures.
But did you know that St. George and most of this whole community from St. George, Washington out to Hurricane, the whole southern state of Utah, is built right over the top of an ancient petroglyph site. And if you look at these ancient petroglyphs, they're full of these anthropomorphic symbols that look like portal symbols, strange entities and creatures and all kinds of stuff. But there's all these people and little strange figures that are upside down, coming down from the sky, going up.
This ties in to fairy lore. And that's another one of those universal myths that most cultures have, this idea that there are other people, usually diminutive people, magical,
tiny little
people, but they're out there doing stuff, and they've been here from time immemorial. And this is an example of that. It is a little bit of a twist on the trope of the Indian burial grounds, which are cursed. These people have built their houses in that portal area where the native folks, the indigenous Americans, knew this is where the duende or the gnomes, they like to congregate in this area. This is the portal, maybe what John Keel called the window area, that a place that was thinner than other places. And so, so these little creatures are coming in and out, through these little portals. And again, just a state over in Arizona, they have Sedona with the vortexes or the vortices. I can't remember or maybe they're called the vortexes. I don't know. But so this whole southern southwest area is rife with window areas. All right, give me your.
Well, I definitely see the connection with the elf on the shelf when you start talking about the fairies and the little mischief and the little whatever. But when you see the petroglyphs, which are everywhere, we got them all over the place out here in Nevada. Are you saying that that's all gnome land as well, and that there's little
thanks for bringing that up
underneath there?
Yes, because
I segue into something else?
Well, you sort of, because I was going to mention the fact that just north of Las Vegas, there's a site of a very mysterious petroglyph that no one can really figure out the iconography. It's called Paranagate Man. And it's basically this a depiction of this one icon that's never repeated ever. He's wearing like a little helmet, and he's like, they call him sometimes called the shaman, and he looks really weird, and he's anthropomorphic, but he also looks like a little alien creature. So the indigenous people were they as best they could the strange and bizarre world that preceded our civilization. They were documenting, saying, this is a strange world. This is what we're seeing, and they wrote it in the stones. And now we're here. You're here just discounting it because because you just don't like
parts of that story. Part of that I agree that they were documenting what was happening and what they saw. But as for us putting the interpretation that they're the little people, which I will tell you, I watch like so much anime and shit, and like pixies and fairies and elves, all that shit. That's like par for the course. So I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Just some of these to make make the leap that there's these stories of these gnomes, and then immediately happen to say that, oh, hey, petroglyphs are here, and look at the artwork, and it looks kind of weird and crazy. It must be connected. Could it be connected? Sure. Is it maybe connected to this particular woman's story? I don't know. But I do. I mean, I don't want to completely discount it. I don't want to discount that she maybe smokes crack at night as well. But I mean, who knows? I mean, I do like the idea that people are jumped in and don't want them to just say, because I think when people say gnome, they think of, these just funny little mischievous cute things that we see in people's garden. But when you see actually that there are other versions, what was it? What's the
duende?
The duende, like that particular version. I like that a little bit more just for the fact that then it's like, then you start thinking that, all right, now there's really some fantastical, like mystical creatures out there but you must beware. But I think if that's what, people are seeing in this, I think the petroglyphs would have made more representative, like scary mouths or something like that if it was other little things, if that's even what that is. But I don't know. The petroglyphs is a pretty big stretch, because we've seen plenty of petroglyphs where it looks like a bison or like somebody shooting an arrow. I wouldn't immediately try to start saying, well, maybe that's a fairy.
Well, that's a good case in point, though, because it just shows that the people who were making these, they knew the difference between a bison, a man shooting an arrow, and they depicted those real life events And then they depicted other things that
Well, they
are
also did
less normal.
lots of drugs and ayahuasca and who knows what else they were.
Well, ayahuasca doesn't come up here, but maybe peyote. I'll give you that.
Peyote and stuff. They were seeing all kinds of things, I'm sure. And maybe that's how they can, talk with the fairies and the spirits or whatever. I don't know.
I'm not going to discount that. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. The petroglyphs is a big stretch to the the gnome world, but you never know. I mean, there is no clear. It's not like there's a sign that says this is what this really means. Well, there are some signs that try to say that that's what they mean when you walk through any of the state parks. They're like, look at this. It's telling the history of when the peoples lived here, and it's like you don't know what they're saying. They could be saying that it's a fairyland or whatever. But
I'm willing to give an anthropologist a little bit of leeway on that. I mean, if I'm sure they've studied it more than I have. I'm just looking at it going like, that looks weird. It's like, no, man, that is the universal. You'll see it across the entire nation. It's the international symbol for don't fuck with me.
For Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah, or Elf on the Shelf. And speaking of that, here's the tie-in for Elf on the Shelf.
A lot of families now at Christmas time involve themselves in this kind of Christmas ritual now with the duende, where they have this elf on the shelf. It's a little elf, a Christmas doll that they put in the house, and at night this little mischievous elf goes around the house and causes all kinds of problems. And a lot of people are superstitious about the tradition of elf on the shelf, that it is actually inviting the true spirit of the duende, or these little entities, to come out of these parallel dimensions that are alongside of us, that hide in these environments, and they actually come out of these interdimensional portals and run around in your backyard.
I love the footage that you find. Like that little blurry, gnome-like whatever. I love that shit. I don't know where you find it. I don't know what portal you pulled that out of, but I liked it.
I just smoke a lot of peyote, man.
I mean, you never know. I mean, it could be.
About this specifically, Elf on the Shelf thing, I do like what he's essentially kind of creating a new counter tradition to Elf on the Shelf, and now kind of treating Elf on the Shelf like you would a Ouija board. That this ritual, as he calls it, is now dangerous because you're essentially, it's a form of manifestation. The doll represents a symbol of the duende or the elf or the gnome. Yeah. And by essentially charging it with energy, you're inviting it. Yeah, you invite the creature to come on through the portal. Sounds very much like a version of the Ouija board. Where you're opening this channel.
All it takes is a few people keep spreading it, because everybody's like, oh, it's so cute. I love playing this with my kid. All it takes is somebody said, yeah, but have you heard the story about the Jeffersons? What do you mean the Jeffersons? Mrs. Jefferson always put the Elf on the Shelf out over and over every year. She kept doing it. Then she started noticing that it moved on its own. And she's like, honey, you did that, right? So that little Johnny could get his kick. He's like, no, I didn't move it. What are you talking about? She's like, well, I clearly didn't put it in the kitchen next to the knife set. And then, the next day when they see the Elf on the Shelf's in Johnny's room with, a very, ominous presence, and it happens to be nice, a sinister look, and they're like, well, honey, did you do that again? You're gonna probably scare Johnny. He's like, honey, I'm not playing your stupid Elf on the Shelf game. And little did she know, she started the invitation, and then an actual spirit came in and actually manifested and tried to kill little Johnny. They had to burn the house down. They had to leave.
Right, they couldn't escape because the elf kept showing up. They burnt the elf, and then it just kept reappearing in the car on their drive back. Why?
That's it. Yeah. Parents, don't play with Elf on the Shelf. You're just inviting it in. It's like a Ouija board. Don't touch the board.
Oh man, this Christmas I've had coming to you soon. This Christmas, Devil on the Shelf.
But it is kind of unique. So it's interesting to see.
You're hoping for that. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the duende are out there just scratching at the ether, the etheric wall, trying to get through.
Yep. All it's going to take is one final elf on the shelf is going to break the portal open.
One tiny rip,
then,
one little rip, and then just
that's it.
Then they're back,
that's all.
and then the elf war begins, and that's for another show. But let's move on now. Let's from inner space to outer space, because the question is there a mothership on its way? According to a TikTok spirit channeler, Emily Eaton, yes and no. So let's start from the beginning. Emily Eaton is a social media presence and a self-proclaimed interdimensional communicator, which she says gives her the ability to speak with angels, demons, aliens, and similar creatures. Probably a duende as well. We'll throw that in there.
I mean, if you got that list, why not?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of open-ended. Well, earlier this year, she began to say that the aliens of the Galactic Federation had messaged her to tell her that they were on their way. On February 9th, she updated her followers with news that the aliens would be a little late.
This message comes from the entire Galactic Federation, all 26 of them as one collective. Here's what they have to share today. 2 months ago, we estimated our arrival by the end of January. We miscalculated the energetic impact of fire, war, and extreme weather also occurring on Earth during this time frame. We have now completed the necessary adjustments and are on schedule to be fully visible by the end of March.
They got a Google Map error, and they course corrected.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, all the fires and the smoke block the interdimensional pathways.
That's a problem for them. You war in Ukraine, they just didn't like that look. I guess they thought, well, we're just going to wait, for this thing to cool down. I'm sure there's going to be a ceasefire soon. Trump will be in office. He's going to end on day one.
I did like how she said all 26 of them. I'm like, 26 what? What 26 what makes up
Federated
the Galactic
alien
Federation?
groups. Yeah, this is the Galactic
like
Federation.
Life forms or like species? 26 different species, you think? Like Vulcans, Romulans, humans, blah, 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 blah. All that sort of.
There's 26 alien races. It's been, I don't know who exactly codified it and said it's 26, but it's 26. You got the Zeta Reticulans, the Alpha Draconis reptiles, the Umo, on and on and on. I don't know if that actually comprises her thing. There's also something called Ashtar Command that George Van Tassel started in the 50s. I'm not sure if this is
these
Ashtar
two
Command. Yeah, they sound like one for one. But in hers, it's the Prime Creator, and obviously in Ashtar Command, it was Ashtar who is the leader. So
Prime Creator sounds pretty impressive.
It does. And also very generic. So Prime Creator doesn't know how to create a really great name for himself. But whatever. So with more confidence, Emily posted to TikTok on March 13th that the aliens confirmed their arrival this time. This is now they're saying, okay, we got it. We're all dialed in. Here we come. And then she explained to her followers what to expect.
In this message, Prime Creator is validating many of the details we've already been told about alien arrival in March, and he's adding detail regarding what to expect this month. Here's what Prime Creator has for us today. We are confirming our arrival this month, March of your year 2025. We will begin revealing our motherships in full visibility for all humans to see and feel. There will be several motherships stationed around the Earth to confirm the extent of our presence. These largest ships will stay mostly stationary over oceans and mountains. Additionally, fleets of auxiliary ships will support the motherships. They will be active in your skies, making themselves known in populated areas through their distinct movement and flight patterns. Be aware, propaganda campaigns will try to make you afraid of us. However, you'll know in your heart that we're here in love. Still, our human opponents will try to confuse and frighten you. Resist their messages and do what you can to replace fear with love in your heart. To minimize fear, we will become visible slowly. All of our ships will stay in the sky with one exception. The Advisory Council of 5 will be transported to your soil to provide assistance and guidance as you transition to New Earth. The second half of the month is expected to see greater activity as our full presence becomes known. There might be additional air travel disruption, but it is not likely to last long. The second half of the month is also when we will begin broadcasting our messages through your media, as well as broadcasting messages on our ships and from our ships.
So there's a lot to take in there.
There's a lot there.
I wanted to play that because she's setting your expectations right there, right? It's going to be all these motherships over the planet, slowly materializing.
Yeah, you won't see them all at once,
right?
But then when you start seeing them, you'll see little ones supporting, but don't be scared by them.
Right.
They'll be flying around in your skies, and only one ship is going to land. But when it says your soil, where is it going to land?
Like I've heard this before, if you've ever delved into the early contactee movement, this sounds like exactly what they were talking about back in the day.
I don't know. Her story feels very, very developed almost, where she felt like if she was sort of embellishing, she wanted to make sure she covered a lot of points. It felt like, how long did this conversation happen? You figure like you're taking a lot of this dude's time, the prime creator. He's very important. She felt like she had a long discussion. She's like, let me take notes. No, when you say you're going to do this.
This is over months. Is it
really? Is that what it was?
This is not this video. This is over months. Starting, I don't even know when her channel started, but like she's been talking about this arrival at least since 2024, and then updated in February, and then finally said committed to March. And I should say, this is March Madness
right now.
Yeah, and so the algorithm that caters to people who love this kind of content definitely gave them what they wanted, and it created a significant hype loop. And so, so people started to see this and started reacting to it.
Are you all ready to see the motherships this weekend?
Tomorrow is the day that we will find out about the mothership.
This is the disclosure that will break things wide open with alien contact.
There are supposed to be 2 motherships visiting 2 cities tomorrow. The lady that posted this yesterday said they were going to be here within 48 hours.
We are going to see big motherships in cities.
It will be on all the news channels, and all social media will be talking about it.
And, I am here for it. And why not? I'm ready. I'm still going to take my math and history test tomorrow.
Keep your eye on the sky, everyone, this weekend. And if you see anything, report back to here.
The event was supposed to happen last weekend from where we're recording now. So as we can tell, it didn't happen. And immediately...
So did that woman take her math study? I love it. She's like, so I'm still going to take my math tests tomorrow.
Honestly, I feel like that is the person...
The paintbrush guy was the best one, though.
Yeah.
I was like, he stopped. He was like, I have to share this. I'm going to finish my wall after this. But
I think the woman that's like, I'm going to still finish my math... is a woman who has done this before. She's been on this rodeo and she knows how it goes. You take it in, you just hope this is the time, but you don't sell off all of your worldly goods and you don't cancel school. You finish your math homework.
Take your math test.
Yeah. And you move on with your life because most likely shit ain't going to happen. And this is what they thought of when it did it.
Well, it's Saturday night, and so far the aliens have not made their big appearance.
I guess my question is, why didn't the aliens check with Dad first? Check with Mom? Can you check with Mom first next time before you tell me you're coming over?
She also said that they would be televised and all over social media, and it would be the Great Awakening or some bullshit. It's been 72 hours and I still ain't seen nothing.
I felt so tired and my whole body aches today, and there really shouldn't be any reason for that other than, I don't know why.
And all the assholes out there are like, oh, get with reality. Motherfucker, I got a damn job. I got house payments. I got all that jazz. I got bill. I have a life. This is my fun time, and I can fantasize about whatever the hell I want. Y'all can kiss my ass.
Maybe when I wake up, there'll be some motherships.
I like them.
Yeah.
I like those 3.
And I kind of agree with their vibe, right? One guy's like, hey, this is fun. This is what I do for fun. I do get hoped up. I do get hyped up, but I do share that hype with you because that's what I like to do.
His accent?
No, I can't. I can't even try without offending half of America. And then you have the other woman who, again, this is again not her first rodeo, and once again she's been bucked right off.
But she's hilarious. You're talking about the one that she's like, I just feel so tired today.
Yes.
I just don't understand why. I was like, oh, she's so depressed because it didn't happen. She's like, but maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and they'll be here. And she's funny. I like her.
Hope burns eternal. Hope burns eternal. It's never over until you're dead and you just join the aliens in the Galactic Federation as your spirit.
I mean, it's tough predicting interdimensional. My father was a weatherman, and they had a really hard time predicting the weather. So I can only imagine predicting interdimensional travel. I mean, and just through the universe and stuff. So, I'll give them to April. Well,
and that's the thing. So yeah, everyone's wondering, so what's up? And of course, Emily, she checked back in. First, she wanted to address the haters first.
That under that facade of sarcasm and cruelty is a deep fear and suffering. You wouldn't go out of your way to make sarcastic and unkind comments if you were a happy, healthy person. You wouldn't use your own precious time and energy to tap the comment button and spew negativity if you weren't operating from fear. And you wouldn't so forcefully reject the idea of help coming from above if you felt worthy of love and support. You just wouldn't.
Why did you have to put the air quotes on from above? Like, is it not really from above? You said it's from a space. She's like, help from above.
Scare quotes is that like it's the God. It's God. And she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. It's the prime creator God, but also he's an alien. So she's saying it basically because you're atheistic. Self-haters.
You're not happy with your life, and you're just hating on them, just like you're sarcastic.
You're the asshole.
You're the asshole, not me.
That's why it doesn't work.
Is what she's saying. I love her positivity. I love that she's just sticking with it. Yeah, she's like, I don't care. It's you, not me.
Commit.
It is not me.
Exactly. She's like, commit to the bit. And
I love her little fucking forehead jewelry thing or whatever.
For those who can't see, she has this little diadem that she wears on her around her head, like a circlet, and there's a little jewel that comes on her forehead. Just picture, if you're old enough to remember this, the little princess from the movie Never-Ending Story. This is her all grown up. She's all grown up, and she still hasn't left Fantasia.
Say my name.
Exactly.
Say my name.
She's here now, and now she's trying to draw us back into to Fantasia with the alien story. So those who were sympathetic to her were saying, well, here's the thing. You're an interdimensional communicator. You're talking to angels, you're talking to aliens, and you're talking to demons. What's the chance that, I don't know, you don't know who you're exactly talking to and that they lied to you?
Ooh.
And so she addressed that.
So could the aliens have been lying to me about that message? Absolutely. Which is why I validated the message many times with several of the individual aliens I work most closely with, as well as the entire collective together. So yes, they could have been lying to me, but I confirmed that they weren't. So I shared the message as requested.
So check that one off the list.
And Sharon never lied to her. Alien Bob and Alien Sharon never, ever lied to her.
No. She checked. She double checked. I don't know what she cross-referenced it with, but she checked. She confirmed they weren't lying. So her final explanation was this.
In my last video, I shared a message from the Galactic Federation in which they said that motherships would be visible in the sky this weekend and it would be all over the media. And here we are on Monday morning and no ships. So this morning I asked them why, and they gave me a new message to share with you. Our last message was accurate at the time we shared it. We were in full agreement and we were fully prepared. But when it came time to execute the plan, Prime Creator decided against it. The council members and district representatives tried our hardest to convince him, but failed. He had changed his mind, and we could not move forward without his agreement. So for now, our auxiliary craft and orbs will continue to get more active, but the motherships are being held back from visibility until Prime Creator decides the time is right. The important thing to know is that we are here already, even if you can't see us. We are here to help you, especially those of you who feel hopeless. If you want us to help you, you do not have to wait for us to become visible. We are here in the sky, ready and waiting to help you individually and collectively as you prepare to transition to New Earth.
So the way that the Prime Creator handles the arrival to a new planet is exactly the same as how Trump handles tariffs. He's just they're on again, off again, on again, off again.
Literally felt like she was reading from a playbook of like some governments and how they're just like, well, you know, I changed my mind. It just wasn't right. It just wasn't blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman literally. I like her positivity and some. She's got a great smile that she loves to tell her little stories with. But then she, boy, there's something off.
She is like a quintessential one of these new age guru types. She's trying to cultivate a following of true believers, because that's the other thing. Did you catch what she did? So her big mistake throughout this entire thing was declaring that on a date something big would happen. There'd be a huge event, world-changing event, and it was bound to fail, right? It's bound to fail. They all are bound. They've all failed. The classic examples: William Miller, back in like the turn of the century, 1900s, who was saying that the end of the world would happen on a specific date, and it didn't happen. He's like, oh crap. And he did what she did. He adjusted it. I went back to the Bible. I calculated the time. I'm sorry. We're like a couple months off or whatever. So he set a new date, and it didn't happen. And in that case, because it was fairly new, this idea of prophesizing the end of the world, he convinced a lot of people to sell everything. And they all went out and just waited for the second coming of Christ. And it didn't happen. And it was called the Great Disappointment. That had a huge effect. These called millenarian movements, these end of the world movements. But it also, they percolated out into other groups, and especially in these kind of new age cycles, UFO cults. And it looks like she's essentially trying to do the same thing, but she fell into the same trap of declaring a date and then having her egg on her face. So now what she did, she pivoted to the fact that, oh, no, they're here. They did arrive.
They're here already. Yeah.
They're here already. And now she set up, that's the foundation now for her work, because they're here already. They channel through her, but they're willing to work with you if you are open to it. And I'm guessing she'll teach you how to do that.
Yeah,
so
for a fee.
Right, exactly. For a fee, I'll be working on this workshop. Come to this workshop.
Yep.
Again, for money. And that's how it's going to be. Then I'm sure she'll eventually have a little enough followers that they have pay for some land. They go out somewhere near Sedona and they build their compound. And then 5 years from now, a bunch of people just show up dead.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid if you go out there.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty grim take, but that's kind of how it looks. That's my read on this, because she does have that very pleasant, affable aura.
100%.
That
100%.
That exudes confidence, and she just is able to rattle off this narrative about the aliens, and their message is good too. Like what's wrong with love and light and blah blah blah. So it's comforting, and you hear a lot of people that want to hear that message. But she knows what she's doing. I'm sure if you go trace her back, she's probably been at this for a while with different little little veins of this. But yeah, to me, there's a sinister something in the smile, in the affable display, and I think in this last post, she definitely set the table for everything to come, because they are here, and now she's the only one that can see them. She's the only one that can channel them. She can share that. She can teach you, and then you become a disciple, and then on and on and on. Now, I should say that's my take. So if it doesn't happen that way, yeah, sure, maybe not. But there, I should say, red flags. Red flags.
I like it though. I mean, I did like the story though. I mean, like going into it, out of some of the other stuff we touched on, that was like the one I was like, okay, this is fun. Like this has a lot of potential. This could be a lot of fun. And then, maybe I just liked it because those clips you played afterwards of them sort of just having fun with it made it even funner. But I mean, I like the idea. I mean, I think we could probably see more of that sort of behavior happening, especially the fact that you're right. When she was reading her sort of apology at the end, it felt like we were watching a playbook that plays out from us, on our own government level. So it was kind of weird. It's like, well, let's just, if I want to tell a little bit of something I'm not quite sure is going to happen, this is what you say afterwards. And people just say, okay, yeah, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And then they move on their way. I'm intrigued to hear what happens with her more now, because now I literally I want to find out more about this crazy woman because I like the way she tells her stories.
Right. And I would say kind of like Paintbrush Guy. One of the
I like Paintbrush Guy a lot.
His take on it is that, this is my fun. I have my bills. If I want to, then if this is the kind of media I want to consume, I can have a little bit of hope maybe about it. Yeah. But also keep 2 feet on the ground and saying, well, if it is, it is. It isn't, it isn't. You can believe in aliens and extraterrestrials, but still realize, okay, this is probably entertainment. Or not. It's that ability to kind of step in and out of the narrative at your leisure. And it's just basically, the idea of have caution about people who may be trying to use that entertainment, that enticement for something else.
Their own personal gain or something.
And honestly, it could very well just be so as mundane as just getting Patreon followers, monetizing this to just get followers. And so you get AdSense. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with like creating a mythos online and people, participating that way, in my opinion.
It could be a giant social project where she's just having fun. Say you want to go out and you want to become a singer and you want to create songs. Say she's like, I want to jump into this character, create a whole story. If I can get people to buy into the story, but knowing that that's just a character, it's just a whatever. When she gets back and behind off the screen, she's like, whoa, I was really pulling that one out of my ass on that video right there, and it could just be all the fun, social fun project.
I guess you're right. It makes more sense to hope that she's actually she's in on the game and this is her side hustle. She's a channeler. I do tend to believe that there's a certain, I don't know, there's a certain sincerity in her face that she thinks she is a channeler. But who knows? I don't know. Whatever.
But I did like how you brought up Paint Guy, and he's like, this is just how I have fun. I pay my bills. It's like if you really wanted to say you have a job and you pay your bills, but then you want to do a podcast where you do nothing but talk about the weird and the abnormal and do it weekly. That's your fun. Who's to stop those people? There's people out there that want to talk about that shit. Who are we?
Exactly. Even on vacation. People go on vacation and still talk about it.
They can't get away. They can't get away.
They'll never get away.
Thousands of miles away. And you might forget your gear, but you better order something from Amazon and get that gear, sir.
You better. That's right. Perfect way to close the show. So Oddnormal's What in the Weird is a production of KTLU in association with Rotten Baby Media. Because if we don't, the Duende will steal our pennies. The show is produced by me and Cold Coffee. The show is edited by yours truly on behalf of the Galactic Federation and their never-ending quest to reach our planet and prove that they are not just the delusions of a very imaginative woman. Full episodes are posted to YouTube and Spotify. If you'd like to support the show, convince the Trump administration to release the documents proving that subscribing to Oddnormal is good for your health. Check us out at Oddnormal on the socials. Most of all, thank you for listening. Live in wonder.
Eat your cookies.
And eat your cookies.
And eat your cookies.
There's no point in having the cookies if you don't eat the cookies.
Oddnormal.